when a player transitions between different systems or styles of play, how can that affect their confidence?
If they don't fit the system,
Okay.
they won't do well.
Mm.
If they fit the system, they can do very well.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing. What people need to understand is not about what school you go to, what team you go to, it's
Mm.
what system you're going to,
Okay.
because that system is either going to make or break your career.
Okay.
So you can go to a system,
Mm.
the biggest team, for example, let's say Toyota Alvark. I'm just naming a random big
Mm.
team. You can go to Toyota Alvark, and based off that system of the coach, it can either help you have a great career,
Mm.
or it can hurt you and you devalue yourself, and then you end up not doing well.
Okay.
And if you don't perform, that's what makes other teams, some teams probably be hesitant,
Mm.
saying, "Hey, he didn't perform here, so I don't know if you should bring him." Or they could analyze that what took place
Mm.
and say, "Hey, he's not doing good because they're not putting him in the right situations here at this system. We will put you in this situation to do better."
Mm.
And that's usually how it happens.
Okay. All right. Now, how do you help a player protect their love for the game when basketball starts to feel like pressure instead of joy?
It's a tough question to answer. Everybody's different, man. Protect your love. I think the only way you can protect it is if you really naturally love it.
Mm.
Because if you love something, you protect it, right?
Yeah.
Like our families, we love
Mm.
our families, we want to protect them.
Mm.
So if you don't really love it, I don't know if there's anything protecting.
Okay.
So if you love basketball, your love will help protect it as much as possible.
Mm.
It's naturally
Okay.
because you care.
Mm. So, what are the signs? If you could talk
The
about one
signs.
sign that tells you the player lost his joy.
Mm, if they just not doing it as much,
Mm.
um, not doing anything outside of their actual itinerary,
Okay.
so you can probably see that. Like if they're not really going out of their way to work out, do extra to get better.
Mm.
If they just do the bare minimum,
Okay.
that's the only way I can think of. There might be other ways, but that's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now.
Okay. All right. What's one thing people outside of Japan misunderstand about the skill level of young player here?
I don't think they know it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they misunderstand it or not. They don't know it. And that's the reason why, for an example, certain platforms I even try to create to help identify players better.
Mm.
So the International Quest
Mm.
is my project now, where it's a ranking system.
Okay.
And what it is bringing players, not players, but evaluators, like some EuroLeague scouts,
Mm.
coaches from the States, um, head coaches, assistant coaches, player development coaches, GMs, because now there's GMs in college basketball in the States,
Mm.
even some general managers and coaches from Europe and other countries.
Mm.
So bringing evaluators to kind of start helping identify the talent,
Mm.
because there's nothing here identifying it. Like right now, if we want to find something out about your son,
Mm.
the only way we're gonna find out is that he's playing out of school.
Mm.
But there's like, but when he was in high school, there was nothing profile, anything you can have to find him. You can only probably see him if they get to certain tournaments,
Okay.
like to Emperor Cup or
Mm.
Winters Cup.
Mm.
The only two things you people really go see players.
Okay.
But there's, for example, I don't. Did your son ever play in Winters Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if he didn't play in that, right?
Mm.
There's teams that did. He played in all through high school, or just one time. How many times he played in Winters Cup?
One time. Yeah.
So, for example, let's say if there's a team that has a player that played there 3 years in a row, because high
Mm.
school is 3 years here, right?
Mm.
And he only been there once. They didn't see him for 2 other years. Does that mean that other players technically better than him?
Mm.
No.
Mm.
They probably have a better team, but individual talent wise, not better than him,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing here to really highlight players. And that's the even reason why what the international quest, the goal is to highlight players. Players get a real evaluation so they can actually know where their level is
Mm.
and then know what to work on.
Okay.
And it makes it as fair as possible,
All right.
in my opinion.
Mm.
So I feel like, to answer that question again, like
Mm.
A lot of people don't know about what's going on here.
Okay.
They don't know about. I mean, it took a while for people to start finally catch on to Europe
Mm.
because Europe is the same way. They don't have there's no system. Only system that we have like that is in the States.
Okay.
There's no formula like that anywhere else in the world.
Mm.
And I don't know why. When it works great in America, it can help people a lot.
Mm.
It help change careers a lot.
Okay.
People get recognized here only if they probably on a national team or through resources.
Mm.
Like myself, placing some players based off relationships.
Mm.
They wasn't ranked here. There's no profiles here, none of that. So it
Mm.
had to be based off relationships.
Mm.
But imagine how many kids will be seen and finally identified, and how many high schools, colleges, and GMs or coaches that can help finally saying, "Oh, that's a platform for the players I've never seen before.
Mm.
Hey, let me get this information on this player. Let me see what this player is. What can they do?"
Mm.
Imagine if your son had that when he was probably in high school.
Mm.
You know, he ended up going to a good school still.
Mm.
They just won a national championship, or
Mm.
I don't know if it's called national. It's called
National
national.
championship.
Yeah, they just won national championship.
Mm.
So obviously it worked out for him,
Mm.
but there's a lot of players that has not worked out for
Mm.
that are talented players.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
so to answer that question, a lot of people don't know what's happening here.
Mm. Okay.
There's a big gap. Big
Okay.
gap.
Now, have you seen players surprise others simply because they were underestimated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of players here, unless they know the person personally,
Mm.
will be very surprised of like players from other teams.
Mm.
Like for example, public schools here don't really compete against base schools or international schools.
Okay.
So there's a gap.
Mm.
I don't understand why, but it's a gap.
Mm.
Um, Based off that gap, they don't know what's going on. Again, they're not familiar. There's no information on nobody.
Mm.
They're not familiar with who's who. Maybe through
Mm.
word of mouth, or maybe they know them already. But if not, if it's neither, they don't know who's who. How else you gonna research somebody? How you gonna
Mm.
have game film on somebody? There's
Mm.
nothing. So to answer that question, some players could be surprised because they're gonna come across talents they probably didn't know was here.
Okay.
You know,
Mm.
so I think it's very possible.
Okay. Now, how does being overlooked shape a competitor?
It can do two things. It can either make them stronger or or discourage them.
Okay.
You know, so being overlooked, and that's another thing. Not to keep talking about it, but trying to find those guys who are talented that are consistently being overlooked just because they're not going to these big school names.
Mm.
Just because they don't go to these big school names does not mean they're not good enough.
Mm.
And that's the honest truth. It shows that even in America.
Mm.
Steph Curry went to Lehigh,
Yeah.
and he's probably one of the best players of all time.
Mm.
Lehigh is definitely probably one of the smallest schools in all D1 programs.
Yeah.
You know, so how's that possible? How come someone that went to a Duke, that was a star part from Duke, starting point guard from Duke, don't make the NBA, but you got a player from Lehigh University making the NBA and being one of the best ever,
Mm.
and that happens.
Yeah.
So that lets you know it's not the fact that people aren't good enough; is that it's just a lot of good players.
Mm.
It's just hard to identify everybody, but there's also nothing here to help do that.
Yeah.
So kind of go back to that part.
Okay.
Confidence changes, pressure builds, talent gets overlooked, but the real ones keep going. More stories coming next.